All right, so let's talk a little about your prospecting list. So you have two examples of that in the back of your ebook, but in order to really get it so that it makes sense for you, I'm just going to quickly go over the elements that you should include. And this can be fluid to however it makes sense for you. I used to use spreadsheets a lot until Google Docs came around, and I think it's the best thing since sliced bread because it allows me to work on prospecting and my assistant to work on prospecting, and it updates in real time. So you can easily create your list, your prospecting sheet inside of Google Docs. But they're just the elements that you want to include. So you want to include the name of the conference or the name of the school in the first column. The second column that you want to include is the date that the conference is actually taking place. So remember, if it is, February or March, it's going to be very hard to be booked for something unless someone cancels in the next week or the next 2 weeks. So you really want to be prospecting 3 months out, a year out, 2 years out. So it's now 2015. I'm actually booking for 2016 now, but then still booking things as they come along for 2015. So if you're targeting the school market, right? School starts back in August and September in most states. So you have to realize that there's summer break. So if you're prospecting to be the General Assembly speaker for when high school starts back, right? Or you're prospecting to be the freshman orientation speaker, you have to realize that you really need to, that happens in September, you really need to be prospecting and sending your information directly about that in March or in April or May before school starts back. Because by the time the administrators come back and the teachers come back and the people that would hire you come back, they've already booked because they're only coming back a few weeks before school already starts. So prospecting is one part, all those things that I've already told you have to do, but then timing plays an equally important part in making sure that you can actually be booked throughout the year, right? Because that would be the ideal situation for you. I travel and I speak at about 5 to 10 events each month, where 4 to 5 of those events are out of the state. So you have to kind of do the math, but that takes prospecting every single day. And that's why I stress to you how important it is and making sure that you're dedicating 1 to 2 hours a day prospecting and working with your virtual assistant to make sure that that's getting done. So we talked about the name of the conference, the dates of the conference, the type of conference as well. So technology conference, entrepreneurship conference, leadership conference, domestic violence conference, you name it, you want to put that type of conference here. The URL, to get back to the information for the conference, you want to put the website address there. Who the contact person is. And you'll put that in the next column after that. The email address directly to reach the contact person from the previous column, you'll put there. The address of the conference. You may or may not have that information depending on the type of year, right? So some conferences, especially big conferences, every year the conference is in a different school, or every year the conference is in a different state or in a different office. But have an idea of the location and you'll put that down there. The organization that's planning the conference. Sometimes that is the same, sometimes it'll be different from year to year. But having that information there so that you can reference them in the emails that you're sending out. The date you sent your first initial email to them, then the date that you made your follow-up call to actually make sure that they received your information. Again, because so many different things change, you want to make sure that the email address that you're sending, that person still works there, that there's still the same person that is responsible for the conference that year, because sometimes that changes. And any next steps that you have, and then the notes. And then, hooray, right, that column that says that you've booked that event and when it's taking place. And then when you send your contract out, when you send your writer out, when you send your thank you gifts out, any other important dates you'll add to that list as well. And that way you stay very organized and very focused, and so that you can be a kick-ass epic expert.